I'm Luke,
And I'm Brandon.
and today we're going to talk about an enterotube. An enterotube is a tube that contains multiple forms of media that allows one to inoculate a microbe or any other organism in subsequent performance.
There are multiple tests on an enterotube. It begins with glucose, lysine, ornithine, hydrogen sulfide and indole, inositol, lactose, arabinase, sorbitol, the Voges-Prascour, ducidol and phenylalanine deaminase, urea, and citrate.
And to reiterate what we just said, it is a tube that has multiple forms of media, as Brandon just listed, that allows one to inoculate in subsequent performance.
And now that you know what an enterotube is, let's inoculate it.
To inoculate an enterotube, you must unscrew the caps to use the wire that's located inside the tube. The tube contains two ends, the blue cap end and the white cap end, with the blue cap end being the handle of the wire and the white cap end being the tip of the wire. Be careful not to touch the tip of the wire to anything besides the organism or culture that you're going to inoculate. So what you want to do is get some growth on the wire and pull the wire through all the compartments in the tube. Brandon here is demonstrating how to do that. Now that you have growth on the end of the tube, or on the end of the tip of the wire, you must pull the wire through all the media using a twisting motion. Once the wire is through all the media, you must push the wire back in until the notch of the wire is even with the end of the tube. Once even with the end of the tube, you must break the wire at that notch by bending it back and forth. Once you have the piece of the wire, you must proceed with breaking the seal on the edge of the tube, starting with inositol and ending with citrate, and this promotes an aerobic environment for growth.
You'll do this in 8 compartments.
Once finished, place the caps back on the ends of the tube and incubate on its flat surface at 37 degrees Celsius for 24 hours. After inoculating the tube for 24 hours, one can now score the enterotube. The scoring of the enterotube allows one to properly identify the organism that was inoculated. The score is determined by the points awarded for positive test results. As you can see on this sheet right here, the tests have numbers underneath them, and these add up to identify the bacteria or organism.
For each test result, various points are awarded. For instance, citrate for a positive test is a +2. If there's gas produced also in the citrate, you get an additional 1 point. And then each grouping of the various tests determines your points for each section. There are 5 total scoring points, and they're broken up as follows. Glucose is the first box. The second box is lysine, ornithine, and the hydrogen sulfide portion of the hydrogen sulfide indole test. The next box is made up of the indole chamber, the inositol, and lactose, followed by arabinose, sorbitol, and the Voges-Prascour portion, and ducidol. Voges-Prascour, however, for this enterotube is not scored except for a confirmation at the end. The final grouping is phenylalanine deaminase, urea, and citrate. after you get the various points in these, you fill out the boxes, and then that gives you your score.
So in this example, the boxes are as follows: 3, 4, 3, 6, 3. And if you were to look this organism up in the ID manual, you would find that it is Klebsiella pneumoniae. If there are multiple organisms listed under this, you have to, like Brandon said, perform a confirmation test, which in this case is the Voges-Proskauer test.
This has been Labs with Luke and Brandon.
We hope that you now understand how to use an enterotube identification system.
Thanks for watching. Give us a like or subscribe to our channel.